come up with anything close to that stranger's true story. Instead, I'm a critic, a kind of map maker as I see it, setting down lines meant to guide others along the trajectories of artists who are always one step ahead of me. In Mitchell, I found an inexhaustible subject, one who never let me put down my pen and declare my maps complete. As I tried to keep up, I had to embrace a new way of writing that made room for gaps, inconsistencies, and contradictions, honoring those unstable elements as essential to a story well told. I am on a lonely road, and I am traveling, Mitchell sings in All I Want, the opening track on her most revered album, Blue. I love that lyric because of the word she repeats at its end. Every traveling is different, determined, anxious, liberated, driven, as Joni extends her breath and clips it, finding a rhythm and immediately pushing away its constraints. So much ground covered in so little time. The line perfectly describes my experience writing this book. As I immersed myself in the landscapes and soundscapes where Mitchell landed and made her music, I had to keep uprooting myself, rejecting any settled stances about who this woman is and why her music is so special. I needed to keep moving because that's what she's always done. What often happens to legends like Mitchell, not as people necessarily, but as subjects of the world's impassioned interest, is that they get stuck within the edifice of fame. In some ways, they become monuments themselves, solid structures built from the aspects of themselves that others love most. Joni Mitchell, the misunderstood musical genius, the emblematic free woman, the sad girl's or boy's best imaginary friend, has solidified into a series of qualities and traits rather than remaining a dynamic force running on both magic and flaws. She is open tunings, confessional songwriting, jazz rock. She is a gammon old crone, a childless mother, a true blue lover leaving before the sun comes up. She is, always in her own category, so relatable, ultimately unknowable. In truth, she's all of these things, but reducing her to any of them turns her into stone. Mitchell's music chases and challenges society's assumptions about what a woman and an artist can be. Any singular view of her artistry and her influence diminishes it. I'm taking Mitchell's lead on this. I feel sometimes like I'm a multi-phrenic person, she once said, apparently inventing a term psychologists would later use to describe the condition of having many selves and self-representations that conflict. Mitchell put it more plainly, will the real me stand up, you know. My goal has been to follow Joni Mitchell as she's drifted and flown and to chart the rhythms of her inquiries. Her self-conception begins in movement. When asked to define herself, she rarely calls herself a musician first, saying that since she was a child, she's been a dancer and a painter, shimmying with the boys and the bad girls in a Saskatoon dive, wrecking her stockings, reaching her arms overhead to make brushstrokes on a canvas, opening up unimagined vistas with a smear of paint. A portrait hardens and becomes lifeless when its maker loses track of the breath, the living presence of her subject, a constantly shifting thing, blurry, then focused, then dissolving, then clear, then different. The light has changed, and strives for something absolute. A mapmaker must be open to new routes. People are not definitive. Neither is any one story. That is the point of Mitchell's songs. Life is stranger and bigger than that. And people, even geniuses, are smaller, human, always incomplete. Every legend is also one of us. Embarking. Many years ago, I was standing in my front yard looking suspiciously at some gathering clouds when a New York editor called me and said, "I just really want to read you on Joni." My first reaction was to pull the phone away from my face and laugh. Of course, the woman music critic should write about the woman demigod. Why didn't anyone ever say to me, "I really want to read you on the Beatles"?